Hello, beautifuls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here with stinging nettle, or nettle here that has sprouted up in this beautiful, beautiful land by this massive beauty of a stone. And I have some messages to share, some divine reminders. My plan today, as I am taking some time to myself to really come home to center, to grieve certain parts of myself that I see leaving at this time, and just lessening that resistance, leaning into it, leaning into the love that is there, that is being shown to me through moments of fear and discomfort. So Will is doing all of that. I plan to send a love letter. If you are not on my love letter list, this is basically my newsletter. I send one love letter a month, and this is reminders, energy updates, more personal things that I share and reflect, questions, just a really beautiful way of connection. And this is why we call it a love letter. So if you're not a part of that and you'd like to be, it's going to be linked in the description box below. But I let everyone know that's there, that I'm going to be sharing an energy update. While I know we have, our monthly update coming very soon, I think it's important that we ground into what is happening right now. And nettle has been the perfect guide and teacher for this practice of presence. If anyone is familiar with this herb, this kin, this plant ally, nettle has these little spiny needles all along and even on some of the leaves. Now, what's really beautiful about that, when we go to work with this plant, when we go to harvest it, when we go to utilize its medicine in the form of the senses, she calls upon us to ground into presence. She calls upon us to honor where we are at currently, to honor the connection here. And from that space, normally these little spiny needles can irritate the skin. And mallow is actually a beautiful, helpful ally to help with that irritation for those that do harvest. However, when harvesting from that place of presence, taking a few deep breaths, honoring the plant, doing, whatever way that you connect, whether it's through singing, through silence, moving your body, sitting and being, taking in the plant or all that's around you, from that space, there's no pricklies, there's no irritation of the skin whatsoever. And this has been my experience, and I've heard this experience from others as well. So what's really beautiful about that in our current energetic state is that we are being called to return to the present, bringing our energy to the present from the past, bringing our energy from the future timelines to the present. We are also being called to honor our boundaries and honor the boundaries of others, honoring the states of ourself and the states of others, honoring the truths that we hold and honoring the truths of others. And not from this space of fear, right? Of getting pricked, of being irritated or getting angry or, wanting things to be a certain way. And this is why we pair it with the present. This is why this beautiful message of being here now is so important. Because it offers us, this mindfulness offers us the space, this presence offers us the space to look at what is here, to really see and sense the emotions, the thoughts, the beliefs that we hold, the reactions that are seemingly taking over us at certain points in times, recognizing that in others, being able to question, remembering the divine reflections that we are, as we take in this opportunity to reflect, to be aware, we have an opportunity to create. And where do we create from? Do we create from the past? No. We can. But once again, we're going to be in those loops, especially if we're looking for growth, right? Do we create from the future? It's discounting who you are and where you are now. The place that we create from is the present. So from this space, we can create, we can choose. We can take those moments to actually start to mold and shape and sound and vibrate in a way that offers us the sense of growth that we're looking for. So with that added to the presence, we have the space to integrate. We create that space of embodiment in our lives with these truths, with this honor, with the core values that we hold. And I feel the overall energies that we're seeing is definitely almost like this peeling apart, or this shift, this place of two worlds, where we see this really bright, thriving energy that has this momentum. There's a lot of action happening, there's a lot moving, and it's beautiful. We desire it, especially as those of us that value productivity on that level, of course. And there's also a part of us that are feeling more stagnant, that are feeling as if everything is falling apart, that are feeling as if all we're doing is going deeper into darkness. And what's beautiful about both of these is that they balance one another out. And we see this yin and yang, we see this balance in the world. No matter how much that we are craving change in the world, there is still somewhat balance as we are creating this change together, as we are shifting into a new state of being, a new frequency, if you will, with the earth. And it's so lovely that we have these plant allies to be reminders of that, to be reminders of the power of our presence, the power of our ability to create, the power of our ability, no matter where we are on the spectrum, to create, to choose, to allow ourselves to return to the observer, to lean on community support, to return to what it means to be human. And I'm curious if anyone really can sense and feel what humanness is. I know some of us here are not necessarily from this beautiful planet, or aren't necessarily native to the spirit of Mother Earth. However, we are here. We are called to this place. We hold bodies with ancestral remembrance in our DNA. We hold codes of the cosmos, of the earth. We are also being wrung around in many directions with the current states of energy that are whirling around the spirits that roam this earth. The message coming through here then is, if you are in this place of diving deep into the darkness, whether you feel that you are able to or not, simply knowing that this is liberation, that this wildness, this ability to step out of your comfort zone, is a path to freedom. And remembering yourself as a creator in that process. If we are in this state of, we could say, darkness, right? What is going to be powerful fuel for you? Is it going to be staying a victim, saying that all of this is happening to you, that you've done the best that you can, that you're trying? All of these phrases, take away our power in a sense, because we're not honoring the truth of ourselves as creators of reality, as part of this reflection of life, as part of this harmonious wave of sound of frequency, of vibration. Yes, we are a part of that. Or how does it feel to fuel yourself with this ability to remind yourself, no matter where you are, that you have the power to choose? That you can remind yourself through prayer, through speaking aloud, through affirmations, whatever it may be, through journaling, through tapping on your body, moving it, laying on the earth for a few hours, to remind yourself that you are that creator, to go into a state of meditation, no matter how uncomfortable you are, and bring yourself to the point of, my thoughts are the balloons going up to the sky. My thoughts are the clouds passing by. My thoughts are simply weaving in and out of my field. I want to note that this is something that we get to practice. For all of us, it doesn't just happen like that, right? And remembering that this is these are messages that are just coming through. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But as far as the emotions, especially if they become really intense, I'll have these intense emotions, and I have experienced panic attacks as well. And in the moment, it's interesting because I'm aware of what's happening. I'm aware of the attachments that I'm holding that are making it that much worse, right? And at some level, a part of me wants to be victim to that process. And some part of me, the body, just wants to take over, and it's like, all right, you're not honoring yourself. We're going to take over. So instead of just feeding it and just being in that state of awareness, it's time to create some sort of adjust here. It's time to create some sort of agreement with ourselves. An agreement that offers you permission to utilize your tools, to utilize your practices, to utilize your ability to sense and see things, your ability to recognize that there is life beyond these attachments, that life will continue to flow, that you are not in dire danger of losing anything. It is all here and it's all going to be gone. There is death. There is death of everything. And our relationship with death is really complicated at this time collectively. Many fear it, many see it as the end of the road. And many see it as a way of not being here. And as someone that can see into the spirit world, there is no such thing as that death. So as we experience these emotions, and perhaps we begin to notice, where we are becoming victim, whether it's in reflection afterwards or during, in these times, this is where we get to take our power back and start to welcome the emotions. Just welcome them. Like, all right, I'm feeling heavy sadness. Let's not over-explain this right now. Let's not try and attach the sadness even deeper, creating deeper roots and hooks into these belief systems that were probably built upon in your childhood, reflecting upon what maybe your ancestors are going through, or even projected upon you by others. So we breathe, we say, I welcome this. Perhaps talking about things can be really helpful, but when we're in that emotional state of being, it's so important that we allow it in to allow it out, to allow it to move through. Because otherwise it becomes that much more difficult. Once it's calmed down, we're like, all right, it's good. We got it. I got what I wanted, And recognizing what it is that you're wanting, especially in these dark places. What are you seeking? What are you fearing? Fear is misguided love a lot of the time. It wants to protect us. That is from a state of love, but fear can also be in that place of wanting to keep us in this past version of ourselves. And this is where I see myself really grieving an aspect of myself, recognizing like, all right, yes, you want to feel all of these things that you used to, but this is a process of growth. You know, if we were going to feel the same all the time, this bliss state, whatever it may be, you know, where is the growth in that? If you feel the same always, if you go through the same thing in the same way always, where is the life in that? So, recognizing and letting fear know, like, hey, describing the process of change, of growth, of what it is that you truly desire. Recognizing, offering thanks to the fear, right? Giving fear a break in that sense of continuing to run away from it. It's just going to push on you even harder because it wants to protect you. It's survival. And on some levels, it'll do anything. What we've attached to the energy, the spirit of fear, is far beyond many of us can truly understand. So it's no wonder it feels intrusive and heavy and scary. Because there's a lot in this world that we are unwilling to see, unwilling to identify with at all, unwilling to recognize is that it's a part of us. It's a part of what the human race is moving through, a part of what the earth is moving through as well. So as we are experiencing these powerful shifts coming into eclipse season as well, the message from Nettle is to focus on your present. Recognize where you are bringing the past into it, where you are operating from that place. Recognize where you are not allowing yourself to be fully present because you are projecting into the future to the point where you aren't even like experiencing what is now. Honor your boundaries, where you get to create space of holding and grace and gentleness and love for yourself, where you get to be of service to others, where you get to give and receive. If you're in a place of deep transition, lean on your community. You are not meant to do this alone. As human beings, I truly do not believe that we're meant to do this alone. But this does not mean that we let everything go and fully drop and project onto other people and forget what it is that we are by saying, this is what I am. You are so much more. You are so much more. To limit yourself in that way, to say that this is just how I am, is not freedom. It's not the liberation that we are looking for, the deep change that gets to occur within the world right now. So, I think if we are going to bring it to the most basic states, it's to meditate, it's to care for your body, it's to continue staying open-minded, continue staying mindful in the sense that you are present enough to be aware of what is happening, recognizing where there are those two parts of you. Some people call it like that like average part, the normal part. It's almost like muggle and spiritual, right? Like boinking heads, and clashing in this sense. And notice what voice you listen to. Notice where you tend to continue to fall back on. Because yes, things are falling into place. Things are shifting in very mysterious ways. And we are a part of that mystery. The earth is a part of that mystery. The earth can hold you in this process. And we can hold the earth in this process. So, personally, I highly suggest laying on the earth for a few hours, taking a nap on the earth if you can, and allowing yourself and your body to reset in that way, especially if you've been doing too much, especially if you're feeling super overwhelmed. At some point when we have gone past the threshold of hyperarousal and our nervous system is overactivated, we've been in this trauma response of like fawn or freeze or flight or fight for some time, it can be difficult to recognize what it feels like to be not that. Or maybe we're hyper aware of what it is to not be that. And we start to identify with this is who I am right now, or this is not who I am right now, which once again is not freeing, is not honoring the wildness within ourselves by putting ourselves within those lines. And it creates that much more contradiction within the mind to try and be somewhere that we're not, or to try and recognize that, oh yeah, I am in a constant state of stress and that's who I am. No, that's not who you are. Even if it's something that you've known your entire life. This is how we burn out. This is how we do not have the energy to make any shift and change within our lives from a state of unconditional love. Because your body is a part of that process. So if you're feeling that, where can you draw out a couple hours? And I hate putting time on this, but if that's something that you need to do, do it. Do it. If you have access to the beautiful nettle that is sprouting this spring, offer yourself her medicine. This skin is so remineralizing, revitalizing, can help calm the nervous system if you're having super busy days. Putting the leaves into a jar just filled up with hot water, let it sit for like 3 to 8 hours, and there's your drink, there's your support, from from Mother Earth, the medicine of nettle to support you throughout the day. This is something that I've been doing for a while and been able to offer to my loved ones as well. Really utilize what it is that you have. We have so much at hand, and this doesn't mean that we need to do it in any particular way. But I feel that as we become more attuned to what our core values are now, as we're experiencing these powerful shifts, seeing how we can devote to those. What are the rituals? What are the practices? What are the things that we can offer ourselves regularly to begin integrating them and embodying them? Being of service if you're feeling like you are thriving right now and this eclipse energy is hitting you different. This portal is hitting you different. Offer yourself. Pour into yourself. Overflow. Overflow. Because we are in this together. We are in this together. Recognize those thoughts and beliefs that tell you that you're not enough to do this, you're not worthy of doing this, you have to be this to do this, and that to do this, and all of these, conditions. The if, then, what. Release that. Let's work on releasing this together. So thank you for listening, and I'm curious what is coming through, what you're going through. You can type it in the comments down below. I've definitely been going through a lot personally, and I'm feeling much more relaxed, and having taken some time to lay on the earth, to journal, to really get clear and reconnect. And when I say reconnect, it's really just opening to receive once again. Because at some point I was feeling like I am having trouble listening right now. I am unable to listen to myself, to anyone else, those that I love, to the earth. Like I felt myself closing that receiving aspect of me, and thus feeling unable to give because I was at that hyper aroused, super overwhelmed state. And offering yourself grace in the time. There was a card that I pulled when I was inquiring about fear, about releasing fear, and the card that came up was to be with nature, to lay, to wait, to rest, to take in the views, to lay down, to be with myself. without trying and needing to like, this gotta go here and then this gotta go, like, you know, this very feminine rest was coming through. So if you're someone that's like really trying super hard to release a fear, it's like that's a lot of focus and energy going towards that. When have a conversation with fear, and then the releasing will be natural. What you choose next, recognizing that, all right, perhaps there is a version of myself leaving right now, shifting and changing. Let fear know, let your inner child know, let yourself know. Because you know you have this wisdom. Even if you feel like you don't. Sit with yourself more. Sit with yourself more. Create that relationship by really sitting with yourself, listening to yourself, recognizing what it is that you truly do believe, what you choose to believe. So, I love you very much. Thank you, Nettle. Thank you all so dearly for being a part of this chat. I send you so much love. Excited to see y'all in the comments down below and to see you live soon. And if you are interested in offering yourself a lot more space, I've created this 3-day reset and recharge journey that can be utilized as a ritualistic ceremonial space to bring you from that overwhelmed state or bring you to a state of clarity. And this has been born from the ceremony itself that I've been taking myself on. So I just offer all the tools, and all of that is in the description box below as well. So much love to you. I'll see y'all hopefully in another video.